Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So, unless you watched the last video, you're going to be a bit confused where I am. Can't go into the details right now because it's a long story, but I was flung into this strange universe and with no way of escape. But anyway, I communicated with some locals in the few weeks I've been here, and they informed me that this is the universe of Banjo Pilot. Now, I'm not all too familiar with the franchise, but I was told by the locals that if I could complete the game, I could return home. Good thing I carry one of these on me at all times.
2005. The birth of two underrated classics. Banjo Pilot was released for the Game Boy Advance in January of 2005. The game features a similar style of gameplay to Mario Kart's earlier games. However, the characters are in planes instead of carts, so you can move up and down. You have to move around the stage to avoid attacks and enemies and stuff, and it makes for some interesting gameplay. The game was developed by Rare, originally as a game for the Donkey Kong series, titled Diddy Kong Pilot. At one time, the game would use tilt controls to fly the planes. However, this was changed, luckily. Before the game could release, however, they changed it to feature characters from the Banjo Kazooie series because of Rare being bought by Microsoft. Obviously, they couldn't use Nintendo IPs. The game still features some planned Donkey Kong features, which are now more Easter eggs connecting the two franchises. The game features a wide variety of playable characters from the Banjo-Kazooie series and tracks based on them games, some of which are also based on Donkey Kong levels for obvious reasons. Collecting honeycomb-like items gives you items to use in the game. Rocks and stones can be placed behind you to hit other players and projectiles. They can also be used to hit enemies ahead of you. There's also a UFO-like object that can track enemies and hit them, as well as a feather that works like the Mario Kart stars. There's also boots that give you an extra boost. On some tracks I found a lightning power-up that zaps other players, but it seems to be a rare occurrence. In each level you can also collect hidden music notes placed throughout the stage. I usually look for where they are in the first lap and then collect them in the next two. Boost rings also appear on the tracks that boost you further, similar to the boot power-up. Another unique feature of the game is boss battles. You encounter these after a Grand Prix and involve you shooting at other characters. You then swap over and have to dodge their projectiles. I thought this was a neat inclusion for the game, as it's not in many other kart races or whatever racing games. One problem with the game is that flying on grass will slow you down. Even when in the air, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand it's so you don't go off the track, but that it seems really weird in some places. It turns out that in a different version of the game, there was a plan to feature cliff sides around you, but I'm assuming it didn't work on the Game Boy's hardware. Overall, I really enjoyed this game. Its flying mechanics was something unique compared to Mario Kart or Toy Story Racer, and its boss battles were a great inclusion. This game is also a great introduction to the Banjo-Kazooie series, which means I'll now have to play through some of the other games once I return to my universe.
Okay, I complete the game. That should mean I can go back home now. Nothing's happening. What? Oh. Well, it turns out I didn't even have to play the game, I just had to say please. Another unique feature of the game is boss battles. You usually encounter these after a Grand Prix. You encounter these after a Grand Prix, and you usually involve shooting. You encounter these after a Grand Prix and involve you shooting at other characters. You then swap over